Coming up next, two-time award winner Below the Line with George Peroulas.
Welcome to Below the Line. In this installment, we will go beyond the conventional film and television projects and explore the growing number of programs developed for the internet. It all starts now on Below the Line.
It's Below the Line with George Peroulas. On tonight's show,
Technology and the internet has allowed the world to be as close as a click away, including entertainment. Two gentlemen hope to make some waves online with their brand of comedy. They call it Short Bus TV. Please welcome Shaun Cardwell and Danny Hirtler. How are you guys? Thanks for coming.
We're great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So, how did you guys meet?
I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, I was shooting a feature film in Wilkes, and I was holding open auditions at the public library, and Danny came out to audition for one of the roles, ended up getting the role. He actually got shot and killed. He died about 5 minutes into the movie, but from then on, we kind of hung out and, stayed in contact, became friends.
Now, Danny, your background is comedy, and you're stand-up comic.
Yeah, I'm a stand-up comic, and the way it got started, basically, I was at the time working on a lot of sketch comedy. I was trying to get my own sketch comedy thing off the ground, and I never really had anything to make it work. I just had the ideas, and I had the people, but I never had the actual know-how. And so I do a lot of stand-up comedy, and I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And since I started working with Short Bus, at first my sketch comedy was kind of it was mainly sketch comedy, and then stand-up kind of took a back burner. But now I'm really starting to get more involved in both, and just going around the Carolinas, trying to see what I can make happen, who I can make laugh.
And how did the concept of Short Bus TV come into play?
It was about 2 years ago that I had the idea of doing webisode series. So at the time, it was still fairly new. I know a lot of filmmakers didn't, think very highly of doing webisode series. They thought it was kind of a waste of time, that sort of thing. But, I really saw that as being an opportunity to even take it further beyond just short films, to do a series, something, continual, ongoing. And I had the idea of actually doing several series from different genres. Doing a comedy, like a drama thriller, maybe a horror. So, I started thinking as far as comedy, what could I do there? And Danny, of course, came to mind with his, stand-up comedy, that sort of thing. Comedy's not really my thing. I'm actually more into drama thriller, type scenarios, but I really kind of just wanted to try something different. And I approached him about doing a webisode series, comedy webisode series, and immediately he was like, "Yeah, absolutely, man, that sounds fantastic. Let's do it."
So, Danny, what happened when you got the call?
Well, I was ecstatic because originally the way he pitched it to me was that a website had hit him up that was getting ready to launch called hdwebisodes.com, and he said that they had approached him and they wanted some webisodes, and he was like, "You're a comic, I'm a filmmaker, let's do it." And I was gun ho. I was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." Because I was working on getting my own stuff off the ground, like I said, and it was very mediocre, very, very poorly shot, and I was like, "Great, now I have an outlet for all these thoughts in my head." And we sat down, we met, me and my stand-up comedy partner at the time, all three of us, Kyle Mueller, all three of us, we met in I think it was a Mexican restaurant over some Dos Equis to just brainstorm some ideas, and we came up with some ideas that are just beyond bad at this point, looking back. And we workshopped them out, and we shot the first skit a week or two after that, and we decided to never show this to anybody ever. So, but then after that, we cranked out some more, and they got progressively better until where we are now, which is actually amazing on the journey we've been taking us on so far. So I was ecstatic when I first got that call to answer the question.
So what was the specific reasoning to do the webisodes versus do short films and a feature, or even try to do TV shows? Why go the online route?
I'd already shot a feature, and that's so involved. I mean, it honestly, it takes years, especially at an indie level. And I'd already done several shorts, and I kind of saw this as being sort of the next sort of an in-between, you know. It's above a short film, but kind of below, you know, everything involved in doing a feature. And of course, you know, doing things online is, you know, I mean, that's really the future. You know, people watch so much content, so much, you know, so much as far as videos and things like that online. So we really saw that as being, you know, a great outlet for where we were and where we are now as filmmakers. So that was really the main reasoning behind it, as well as kind of, you know, this kind of gave us the ability to hone our own skills. You know, not from just doing one short. This is a continual thing. So we're constantly, every short we do, we feel like we're doing better. We're gradually taking a step forward.
Now tell me about the writing staff and the actors. Now you're the head writer, Danny.
Yes. We do have a writing staff. Usually what usually ends up happening is there's a lot of us, the whole Short Bus crew, everybody who acts, everybody who produces, we all, of course, pitch in ideas. And then, you know, we get on set and inevitably someone will sooner or later say, you know what would be funny? But ultimately, someone usually pitches an idea, or I'll pitch, I'll throw in a script, a short script I'll send to Shaun, like, I had this idea, and I write it up and I send it to him. And then he sends me some notes back, or we usually try to get the crew together, sit around the table, and pitch extra ideas, see what we can come up with. And we have some very, very talented writers, most notably Kirk Gunton. He went to film school in Eastern Carolina?
Western North Carolina.
Western Carolina.
Yeah.
Western North Carolina. And he has a sweet beard. And and he's very great. He came on board kind of later on in season, more towards season 2, and he brings a very much of knowledge of a detailed oriented, you know, storyline approach, textbook approach of, you know, no, you can't do this, this will violate this and that rule, and it's a lot more structure than we used to have. And then there's Andy Johnson, little Andy, as we called him, because we had 2 Andys. We called him Little Andy. He kind of brings the, I guess I'd say, innocence to the table, where we're like, oh, you know what, that's really cute. Let's just do that idea, Dora the Explorer skit. We hadn't even thought about that. And of course, it takes on the own form. And then there's the regular cast and crew, like my old buddy Kyle Mueller. He used to do stand-up comedy with me. Then there's my brother, who he acts a lot in our show, Chris. And then there's Carly and Steph, who just they're girls.
That's always good to have.
It's always good to have on a show.
Girls are good.
So it's very hard to convince a crew to get it in dresses. So girls are good to have on our show. So, but that's basically our writing staff in a nutshell. And that's the writing process is we pitch it, we go crazy over it, and then we get on set and it changes up a little bit, and then it changes again to the editing room. And at the end we go, whoa, turned out a lot better than all of us thought it would.
We have a strange comedy style.
It's very.
So, yeah, I mean, we have some controversial comedy, some black humor, stuff like that. But at the same time, I mean, you know, we have slapstick as well. And, you know, we mix up a lot of different things. Yeah. So there's a little something there for everybody, we like to think.
Yeah. We're not something for people who take things too seriously. We pride ourselves in literally making fun of everything. Nothing is sacred in our comedy.
We make fun of ourselves
a lot
as well.
So how did you come up with the name Short Bus TV?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a funny story, you know. I told Danny, you know, we were talking about the name, and I told him, we need something really short, just a couple of words, something really catchy that people remember, of course. You know, in starting up a series, we need something that, you know, really stands out. And, you know, it just so happens, I don't know, one day I was driving along, and we were thinking about this sort of thing, and I just happened to see, like, a short bus driving down the road, and immediately, you know, I, like, called him. I was like, dude, what about Short Bus? He's like, one better, Short Bus TV. Yes. And it just stuck. You know, people kind of remember that name, and it fits so well. I mean, you know, that's not to say that was, like, our theme of the show or anything like that. It just kind of worked well.
It is, yeah. There is a certain stigma that ultimately comes with it. And there's 2 stigmas. One is the obvious one with that people might think that we're making fun of special needs population, which obviously we're not, and I want to go on the record saying we are definitely not. We have never done a single skit, nor would we ever. We were both kind of involved before I got into the comedy business. I was a one-on-one professional worker with the special needs population for years on end. Both of my parents foster special needs kids, and we have both supported charities for St. Jude's Children's Research and all that, and we would never in a million years make fun of other people's disabilities. It's just a play on words as because a lot of our organizations use short buses, churches, police, and in general, a lot of population. It's generally associated with something that's unique and rare. It's a little out of the ordinary. Like you see a regular bus and you see a short bus, and you're like, that's kind of funny looking, regardless of who uses it. It's funny looking, and it's not the size that matters, which is our slogan. So it's Short Bus TV. It's not the size that matters. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, very good. Coming up next, we'll find out about their distribution deal. Stay with us.
You're watching the award-winning Below the Line with George Peroulas, awarded Best Arts and Entertainment Program.
Thank you. Wow, I'm shocked. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you to the judging panel who thought I was best this year. We won. Thank you again.
You're watching the award-winning Below the Line with George Peroulas.
You're watching Below the Line. With us are the creators from Short Bus TV, Shaun Cardwell and Danny Hirtler. So tell us about this distribution deal you have with Coldcast TV. How did that come about, and who are they, and what's going on?
Sure. We were actually looking at different ways that we could get our stuff out there. We had done pretty well everything that we could do as far as social media is concerned. You know, we'd done the Facebook, we'd done YouTube, Vimeo, that sort of thing, and we were just kind of searching out, different things that we could do to get it out to a bigger audience. And it was actually Coldcast TV that had contacted us. And Coldcast TV is basically an online distributor for webisode series. And what they do is they actually have several sites that they manage, that they release the series on. They do a lot as far as social media, a lot of writing blogs and things like that. So they really have a big network. And they also have contracts with internet TV boxes, things like Roku, that sort of thing. So they really have a large network. And they contacted us about Short Bus TV, and we had sent them all of our information. The way it works, it's not like YouTube where you can just upload your stuff. They actually have to choose you, and you do sign a contract. So, they shop the Short Bus stuff around the office. Everyone seemed to like it, so they said, okay, if you guys are interested, then we want to do a distribution deal with you online. So we were like, absolutely. We were so ecstatic about that situation. So they sent us a contract. So we signed a 2-year agreement with them for our distribution, it went well. We have our page on there. The way it works as far as their ad revenues, we have a small amount of revenue coming from that, but it's better than nothing. Of course, any of that has gone directly back into the show.
And Danny, what was it like when you heard about this distribution deal?
I was very intrigued. I was, of course, a little skeptical at first because I was like, it was very much in the beginnings of Short Bus, and at times it's still very weird to wrap your head around the fact that people want to be officially involved with a show called Short Bus TV. Like, we had a 14-page contract, and we had to keep reading, and it was like, and Short Bus TV? I was like, I can't believe this. It was great, and I was ecstatic. We combed through the contract with our legal expertise, a.k.a. Google, and we signed it, faxed it back out, and we sent them all the info, and we've been in touch with them. They set up our page, and it's very interesting because we are obligated to send them have them release our skits first, basically, and it's very weird from going to just uploading stuff on YouTube whenever we get it ready to sending stuff in and releasing it on schedule and having them feature us in a blog. Like, they featured us in a blog comparing us. They wrote a big blog about like the 10 greatest SNL sketches. And they compared us to SNL and Kids in the Hall and then those kind of things, and just that blog alone garnered us a giant amount of views and exposure, and so it's been very ecstatic knowing that we're going to be. Because with Roku and Boxy and those kind of things, they're really the wave of the future, and the way me and a lot of other people feel that TV is moving. It's moving more away from mainstream television, more towards the internet broadcasting, towards Roku, Vizio, Boxy, those kind of things that you can stream live on your TV with just a remote. And it's just to be featured on and be that accessible is, compared to other sketch comedy shows with our budget, is just amazing.
And Shaun, you mentioned social media. How has that and Facebook propelled you with the exposure of your program?
I mean, without social media, we would be nowhere. I mean, that's pretty well what our marketing has been. I mean, everything through Facebook and you know, getting fans and that sort of thing, to Twitter. We have a Twitter account, and of course YouTube. And even beyond that, you know, there's a lot of different accounts and things that we have, and that's really where all of our fans are at. That's how they find us and watch our stuff, and it's really been quite amazing. And even beyond, you know, our videos, our sketches, and things like that. I mean, you know, we post up funny stuff all the time, and people just come to our pages just to laugh and, you know, see funny things, and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube have been the main driving force in our social media endeavors. And I was very lucky when I first started working with this show. I had an office job where I was largely unsupervised. So I think, as Shaun calls it, one of the greatest times for Short Bus TV as far as promotion goes. Our fan base increased exponentially because I was able to put hours and hours of work into Short Bus TV, as far as promoting it and as far as just responding to literally every single email that came in from even like the most minuscule fan. When somebody just posted like, "Thanks for the ad" on our page, I was able to just respond to that and network on a microscopic level and grassroots it. And that involvement, we really skyrocketed from that point. And since then, we've been too busy to keep up with that on a very consistent basis. So it's kind of slowed down a little bit as far as the growth goes. But I noticed that if you can stay involved, the main thing people want to see is that there is like a real person behind it. People online, they love interaction, and when they can see a project and they know there's a real person and they're producing this, people like to see things happen. People like to see things come to life. And I think that's the big thing that garnered us the local support, is especially in a town like Wilkesboro that has been kind of hit hard by the joblessness. Lowe's moved and the Speedway shut down, and a lot of crushed dreams. Once people see that there's actually something happening, people are doing something and following their dreams, that's when they want to hop on board. And that's just been a driving force behind our social media, behind all of our growth in general, is just people showing us their support.
What has been the biggest challenge in developing this series?
Our biggest challenge would be getting people involved. You know, I know there's a lot with scheduling and things like that. I mean, of course, you know, we're not paying people. We're not able to do that. So, you know, it's tough to work around work schedules, that sort of thing. That's been a really difficult factor. And also, you know, I guess from the standpoint of a filmmaker, you know, we started out on standard def, and we really didn't have what we needed as far as our sound was concerned. You know, we were still running audio into the camera. So, I mean, we've gotten progressively better, and we're at a really good place now. I mean, there's still room for improvement, but, I mean, just, you know, a challenge from the technical side of things, as well as casting.
Some people, we were lucky, we have had some people that specifically called out of work to be on our sets, but most people, they're just like, you know what, look, at the end of the day, I need to pay my bills, and you guys are not paying me. Man, it's just so fun. Once we get the people on set, we can usually power through it. And I mean, all of us, we've had many shoots where we've pulled 14-hour days for no money, and we're happy to do it. We love doing it, and we have a blast every time we do it, unless we film in an abandoned grocery store, which, or in 40-degree water.
Everyone loves doing this, and everyone loves being involved. So we're kind of at that point to where, you know, we still have difficulties in scheduling, but everyone loves to be there.
Well, you guys are now in season 2. What have you learned from season 1 and now in season 2 with dealing with the show and producing it and writing it and preparing to do it?
We've learned so much from season 1, especially from the writing standpoint. As far as our comedy is concerned, we've really kind of honed in on specifically what our style is and what works with our audience. I mean, season 1 was, you know, it was brand new. We were just putting it out there. We really didn't know how people would react, and that was kind of like our test. You know, season 2 is really, you know, we know exactly what works well. So from a writing standpoint, you know, that was a big thing that we learned a lot about.
So let me ask you, what is Stoner Kitten?
Stoner Kitten, it was a very off-the-cuff moment. It was the first skit we ever filmed. No, the first skit we premiered.
It was actually a promo.
Yeah.
It was a promo for season 1. You know, we were shooting our regular episodes. We're like, we need some promos to put out there to, you know, to really build the hype for
to show
for our
people
first
that
season.
we're not just making up statuses about coming soon, guys. We promise.
So yeah, we made a couple of really quick skits to promote the release of season 1, and you know, Stoner Kitten was one of those. I think you wrote that, right?
It came about because me and my girlfriend at the time, we'd actually adopted a bunch of kittens. We found a bunch of kittens at the side of the road, 5 kittens, and they were malnourished. We were trying to nurse them back to health, and I had one of my close friends. He's a stoner, and he can weigh stuff with his hands, and we were like, man, because the instructions on the kitten food tell you how, like, for this many ounces of a kitten, give it this much. We're like, we don't have any scales. I wonder, and my mind immediately went to, we should hand this to my stoner friend. He could be like, man, this is like 2 ounces right here. Somebody shorten you on it. And that's how this skit just crystallized in my mind. And we brought on my brother, Chris, who plays the stoner in this. And his improv, most of the lines in there are improv. He absolutely knocked it out of the park.
And we actually submitted that to an online competition by Comedy Central, and we placed 6th in the nation.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to see someone on Comedy Central and be like, yeah, I know that guy. I went to high school with him. And they can be like, hey, you still remember me? And I was like, yeah, I still hate you. And stuff like that. So it garnered us, how many views did we get in a week? 10,000, 15,000 in a week? Something like that?
Yeah, it was quite a few. And actually, you know, speaking of that, as far as views are concerned, I know we actually didn't talk about this with Coldcast, but we did get an award from them, from Coldcast TV, for the most views in a day. In one day, we got over, was it
20,000?
20,000, yeah, over 20,000 views. So, I mean, we were so ecstatic because we had not gotten so many views at that time. So that was amazing. But yeah, I mean, Stoner Kitten just really took off. The Comedy Central thing did kind of start it. And it was so weird because the skit started popping up on all these weird websites that we had not uploaded to.
It still does to this day.
Yeah, so like, you know, we would get, what is it with Google?
Google Alerts.
So yeah, we would get Google Alerts and things like that when our stuff would pop up.
Coming up next, we'll show you what Short Bus TV is all about. Stay with us.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
We're back with the creators of Short Bus TV, a comedy web series. And you brought a clip to show us today. What do you have?
We have the Turtle skit from season 2. It's a skit that Andy Faw wrote for us.
Both of us are big fans of you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So he kind of wrote this skit based around that. I put together this awesome Shredder costume for Halloween. So he kind of wrote that to, you know, appease the gods of the Ninja Turtles. And you know, as far as the skit is concerned, I guess it's one of the more family-friendly skits of season 2.
Very good. Well, let's take a look at a scene from Short Bus TV.
Chris, what is that?
It's my new best friend, Cheesecake.
Cheesecake? Really? Turtle cheesecake?
What do you want, Carly?
Chris, every time you get a new pet, you get all attached and you want to marry it and make sweet love to it for like 10 minutes, and then you abandon it, you leave it, and I have to deal with it. Every time.
That's not gonna happen this time, okay? Now shut up, you're scaring Cheesecake and we were having a moment.
Want to lose weight and keep eating?
Very good. So what advice do you give to those who want to start creating their own web series?
Go for it. I mean, you know, really just kind of search out the people that are out there, you know, doing things. I mean, I kind of started out doing some shorts and stuff myself, but, you know, I really kind of, you know, started putting it out there to other filmmakers, seeing who would be interested in getting involved and being on the crew.
The biggest advice I can give it is expect to put a lot of hard work into it. and do not expect overnight success. Because there's two types of things that will get famous on the internet pretty quick. It's things that are really incredibly, amazingly awesome, and it's things that are really incredibly, amazingly god-awful. And if you're anywhere in between there, like our show, it's pretty good. It's very good. I have confidence. It's a great show, but it is not phenomenally out of this world, one of a lifetime thing that you will share with your friends. It's a lot of work, and you know, we have to draw people in. Once they see it, they will share it, and yeah, but it's not something that'll just spread virally without a lot of hard work. And I know there's a lot of viral videos out there, so a lot of people think, I can just upload something to YouTube and I'll be famous. No. 24, up now it's 48 hours of YouTube footage get uploaded to YouTube every minute. So you have to keep that in mind. You are a tiny, tiny fish in a massive sea. And if you get 2,000 to 3,000 views on a video on YouTube, that's great. You've done a lot better than the big chunk of the videos out there.
It's just a lot of work, and you got to stick with it. I know a lot of people, you know, they'll make a video or something and they'll put it out there, and it, you know, maybe it doesn't do nearly as well as they thought it would, and they kind of give up. You really just got to stick with it. There's
no substitute for hard work. There isn't. You can be as talented. You can have the best ideas if you want. You're not getting around hard work in this business. You're just not.
Well, Danny Hirtler, Shaun Cardwell, thank you so much for coming. All the best to you now in Season 2 for your program and your adventures, and we thank you for coming.
Sure thing. Thank you so much.
If you ever want a cameo on our show, just let us know.
All right, I'll do it. All right, we're back in a moment.
The winner for the Access Achievement Award for Best Promo is Below the Line with George Peroulas.
Thank you so much. I have all these ideas in my head, and you know, the only way you can get them done without people thinking you're crazy is to do on TV, and I guess it seems to be okay. I want to thank the other partner in this project, which is Steven Soper. He also co-produced and co-directed this project, and of course I want to thank all of the actors. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
You're watching the award-winning Below the Line with George Peroulas.
Thanks again to Shaun Cardwell and Danny Hirtler, and thank you for watching. Feel free to contact us with your questions, comments, and show ideas. The email address is belowtheline21@gmail.com, and join our fan page on Facebook. We'll see you next time.
For more information, comments, or questions about the show, email us at belowtheline21@gmail.com.